When trying to diagnose a misfire or other drivability problem, a relative compression test can be a very useful test in order to tell the mechanical condition of the engine. What we're going to see is the condition or the compression in the cylinders relative to each other, not necessarily the value of the compression in that cylinder. Let's walk through how to set this up using this Mazda behind me. All right, so let's take a look at the setup here. So I got my scope set up. It's already set to record. I got it on a 1-second sweep time. Now I'm going to turn on channel 1, and on channel 1 I have connected the low amp probe. I have it on a 60 amp setting. Now you notice on the tool I have it set to a voltage setting. So every low amp probe outputs a certain amount of voltage per amp that it reads. Since we're reading the current going through the starter, we're reading the 10 millivolts per amp reading that's coming out of the amp probe. I also want to know where cylinder number 1 is. So I'm going to go here, turn on channel 2, and I have that back probed on the number 1 coil control. So every time that fires, we'll see it on the screen and we'll know where it is in the firing order. Now before you start the engine, you want to make sure you disable the fuel system somehow. Some vehicles have a fuel cut where you press the accelerator to the floor, it cuts off the fuel. Other vehicles you may need to pull a fuse or a relay. You just want to make sure it doesn't start, it just cranks. And then we're ready to start, so I'll have my assistant start the vehicle, crank it over. All right, that's pretty good. It's going to settle down after a little bit, so it's going to start really high and then kind of settle down. You want to get it recorded that far where it's settled down. All right, so now we see on the screen, we have cylinder 1 there where the green line is, cylinder 1's there where the green spike is as well. So the firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. And we can see the cylinders are pretty steady relative to each other. Now if I had a problem with a cylinder where I had maybe low compression, maybe let's say this cylinder 4, that would be much lower or maybe even close to a flat line, depending on how much compression I had. So once again, relative to each other, we want to see, is it higher, is it lower? All right, so as you can see, that's a quick test where you don't have to take the engine apart. If you suspect you have a mechanical problem in the engine, you can just clip on your low amp probe, run this test, and see relative compression between the cylinders. We hope you found this clip helpful. Find hundreds of other quick tips and useful training videos right here on the Snap-on Diagnostics YouTube channel.